What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily live stream. We are live on Saturday morning. I'm tired as I can be. I got in about 3 a.m. last night from an absolutely legendary evening with, we basically went to a meetup, a private sort of invite event that had, I'm not going to lie, absolutely everybody I could have ever wanted to meet at the Bitcoin conference last night. From Gareth Soloway to Crypto Face to Crypto Crow to Crypto Zombie to Altcoin Daily to Cryptos R Us, Tom I mean, it was everybody. Rice TV. It was everybody you could want there, all in one spot. It was such a wonderful event. Benjamin Cowan had a basically penthouse suite that he invited, a cool, calm, about 300 of us. Really wonderful time hanging out with everybody and connecting, faces to actual handshakes and hugs. It's what it's all about. We get so lost being in the digital realm that we forget that we need to be human sometime and touch skin, give a hug, give a handshake, look people in the eye. So I just want to say what a wonderful time it was, and shout out to Benjamin Cowan. If you don't follow him, definitely go check him out. Into the Cryptoverse, one of the best analysts in the space. But we had a wonderful, wonderful time last night. I ended up, talking till about 2 a.m. with the Rational Root as well. We were just talking about charts and Bitcoin and cycles, but it, all tied back into, life and, what we really want to see build into the space. So how's everybody doing? How you feeling? How you looking? Is everything going all right? I'm not seeing that there's the chat. I just want to make sure, throw a 1 in chat if audio, visual, everything is looking good. Let me pop out the chat there so I could see it. But we're going to do I just wanted to do a quick update. I kind of stole from you all on Wednesday because I was traveling, so I wasn't able to do the stream. I was like, you know what? Got the hotel room here, and I actually have somebody. You can't see him. There's somebody sitting right here. I thought he was going to actually be on the show, but he's just kicking it. Well, one of you all, one of your friends, one of our family from the chat. If you can guess who it is, I'll give you a cookie. But yeah, he's in the room right now while we're doing the live stream, and I just wanted to say a special shout out again to everybody that's here on a daily basis. Special shout out to everybody that just shows up, because you're not just showing up for me. I mean, this is about you. You're showing up for your ability to be informed on the space, and I appreciate you all. So if this is your first time, I can guarantee it's not going to be your last time. My name's Kellam. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Let's go ahead and jump on into it. It's, my computer, my browser crashed right before we went live, so I have nothing prepared. We're just gonna wing it here. We're gonna do a quick market, maybe about 30 minutes of what's going on in the market. But before we do that, I do want to shout out everybody in the chat here. We got Karen Swigart Harris in the house, Alexandra G, Creighton C, what is that? How do you say that? Critipole, Rick Wilson, Sawtooth Hiker. We got the small community today, and that's okay because we don't normally go live on Saturday. So this is just for you all. Now let's go ahead and jump in here on the charts. Make sure you're following me here if you're not yet at Kelly Kellam, and then make sure if you haven't yet, come over to BitLab Academy, which is at Academy BitLab. Hit that follow button, hit that retweet button just like this, bam, and hit that little heart right there. Helps get it helps support this space, this community, while also entering you for an opportunity to win some great stuff. So let's go ahead and just jump right on into the charts. Actually, before we do that, I actually want to take one break. I sat yesterday at the conference here in Bitcoin Miami. I listened to another one of Michael Saylor's talks, and I was joking with some of the other influencers and how even if you listen to 10 different interviews from Michael Saylor, he always has a different thing to say and a different way to say it. Obviously focused towards the same thing, Bitcoin adoption, development of the space. But he's got such a brilliant mind, and not only, the idea of buying, holding, and participating in the digital asset ecosystem, participating in Bitcoin, but also, with his company MicroStrategy, what they're doing. And he was talking about some of the plans that they have that they're already starting to roll out, but Bitcoin services within their software company, and providing different means through those through those services to actually, of course, drive revenue, make profit. That's what businesses are about. But doing it in such a way that by nature of participating, his clients participating in what he's doing, it's encouraging them to engage more deeply with the Bitcoin ecosystem, and it, provides tools to incentivize businesses to also be able to incentivize their own user bases, their own clientele, to be involved with Bitcoin, and it's in a more effective way than, for instance, if you think about like, for instance, digital marketing campaigns and stuff like that. Rather than, he was saying yesterday, rather than having a company commit to spending $50 million on, a Pepsi ad, or McDonald's $100 million on a new marketing project for the new chicken nugget or whatever it is, rather than spending this money that's empty to where you're doing the marketing services, and then that money is just exchanged, and there's nothing that really drives any part of any ecosystem anywhere there. It's just an exchange of money for the service. And he had a really interesting take on one of the services that they're trying to provide, which is allowing the ability to have somebody, instead of spending $100 million on a marketing campaign, spend 50 or 100 million of that actually just buying Bitcoin, and have that be attached to incentivized measures that could encourage people to participate in whether it's a marketing campaign, whether it's a new product, whether it's a community, whatever it is. And I thought it was really interesting, because he's really not only all in on how much Bitcoin they have. They have over 140,000 now, right? But also trying to look forward, and how can we participate? How can we set up services that can help the ecosystem as a whole grow and incentivize people to do so, because it makes sense for their bottom line. It's not just, hey, it's be fun and it's be great if we push Bitcoin forward, but more so, how can we do things that incentivizes people on a real level, where it's meaningful for both participants, whether it's the business or the client, or a potential client, right? So I just thought it was really interesting. And then Jack Mallers came on at the end of the day, and they just updated their Strike app, which is their the Lightning Network stuff, and they just opened up or they just turned on services to over 3 billion new people in terms of access. It doesn't mean all 3 billion of those people are going to use, but that's all the way across South America, all over Africa, Australia, a lot of places on the southern hemisphere, or the southern, is it a hemisphere? The southern, below the equator. But just giving a lot more access. And what was really interesting, I thought about it, was not only was it something that had to do with Bitcoin, but within their app, you can also utilize, this is what people don't realize about Bitcoin and Lightning, is you can participate and use the amazing technology that is Bitcoin or the Lightning Network, and not have any desire or any need or any actual use case whatsoever to use Bitcoin. You can use it on its own as a payment rail. You can send US dollars to somebody else in US dollars, or US dollars, and have it convert on finality on the other end to Australian dollars, or to, name any other currency. But you can utilize essentially the Bitcoin rail, the Lightning Network rail, to where whatever you're sending initially gets transmitted, immediately converted, transmitted near, as fast as those payments go on Lightning, which is near immediate, and then have it, reach its point of finality, and the remittance would be whatever on the other end, what their preferred currency or asset would be, which is really interesting, because it's not just, okay, we want Bitcoin, let's do all the things we can do to send Bitcoin. Having the ability to do things outside of people that are just 100% Bitcoin centric, it's like you can still use this technology, and that actually also drives drives out, an evolution and adoption in the ecosystem. So that's just some of the things that I heard yesterday, and there's a lot of other wonderful stuff that I heard, but those are the two main topics that popped out. Now let's go ahead and jump here on the charts. Me and my compadre over here, we're going to be running back to the conference here in about 35 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of a market update. But how is everybody doing? Is anybody frustrated right now? Do you feel like this sideways nature is just like, when's it going to move? But if you ask that, are you okay if it moves in the opposite direction that you want? Because remember, volatility, always makes somebody money somewhere and always takes money from somebody else. So in moments where you've made a good trade or you're in the green, there's somebody else in the space that may have just lost everything, that may have not had good risk management, that may have not stuck to their plan, and they got held hostage by their emotions and they jumped into a trade because it was moving up. And then the second it started rolling out, they ended up, selling below where their entry was, and they lose money, and then they jump back in, and it's like this flip-flopping. We can't allow ourselves to be victims of our own sort of fear and FOMO. So let's go ahead and look at these charts. Let's make sure we don't do that. So first up, we haven't looked at this for a little while. Let's look at the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance. We fell. This doesn't look significant, but this is a pretty steep fall from 48% dominance all the way down to 47.75. Let's go ahead and zoom out here. I'm going to double click on this. Remember, as we've been talking about this, one of the reasons, and we need to check on this, not every day, but at least once a week, be aware of what's happening with the dominance, because this is giving you a very good indication as to where the liquidity is flowing in the crypto ecosystem. So where we're at right now, I was talking with Benjamin Cowan yesterday and Rational Root, and the debate that nobody has the answer to, because it's going to be speculation until it plays out, is that is Bitcoin going to stay in this range that we've been in all the way since May 2021 all the way to now, which if we actually take a measuring tool here, right, this is, we've been in this range for 739 days, but, patterns and ranges are a bit, I don't want to say built, but they inevitably do break at some point. So is this going to be something that goes on for another couple of years, or are we going to see an explosion of liquidity coming into Bitcoin as opposed to the rest of the crypto marketplace? Because if this is going up, then this means that Bitcoin, there's more liquidity flowing into Bitcoin, and some of those alts that you've been waiting on this explosion, this alt season. But if the dominance starts shooting up, it doesn't mean there's not going to be an altcoin out there that, goes, bucks the trend and goes a little bit, counter to what the rest of the altcoin market is. But it does suggest that the risk and the sentiment of where people are wanting to put their money in the crypto ecosystem, if this is going up, this means that Bitcoin is large in part performing better than altcoins. On the other hand, we also have to contend and realize that this doesn't necessarily need to break through this. It very well, because we're up here in this range, and we saw in the past, this really got rejected sharply off this 48% zone, and we're actually really kind of just hanging out here. It almost, I never saw this before. This almost looks a little bit like a, hold on. This almost looks a little bit like a diamond, which the funny thing about diamonds are, and I hate diamonds because it's, I'll tell you why, because diamonds can be a reversal pattern, but it also can be a continuation pattern. So it's like, well, what the heck is the point of you not outlining it? Because it doesn't really give you that much clarity. But the point being here is we have, the bullish impulse or the strength, I should say. I won't call it bullish or bearish on the dominance. The strength of this upward movement, this increase in the dominance on Bitcoin, very strong, rejected with, pulling back, and then it's sort of constricting here. So it's tight here, gets wide, and it's getting tight here again. If this does actually lose this sort of level right here on the dominance, this very well could be moving down. And if this is the case, then maybe we'll see a lot more liquidity flow into the altcoins. Now, coming out of this chart, let's go ahead and look at is this the total 3 or the, it's the total 2. So this is the entire crypto marketplace, excluding Bitcoin itself. It's Ethereum and then all your alts. We're seeing this is riding on this previous level of resistance, sitting here right on support, but it's just kind of working its way down somewhat slowly. It's already, I wouldn't necessarily use indicators specifically on an index like the total, but if we were to look at this does show that we are the momentum indicators we see with the red down here on significant movement is suggesting that this has gotten a bit overheated, which is interesting because it's yet another lower high on the total too. So does this suggest that we could be seeing a little bit more of a pullback in the alts? Well, we're gonna have to see. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the charts here and look at the actual assets we want to look at. So we know this. I'm not going to go over all the macro today. Why is this so zoomed out there? All right. I'm not going to go over all the macro on this, but remember, every time we come to charts, We need to make sure we understand what the macro context is. We see the falling wedge. We've broken out into a rising wedge, but we've kind of had a false breakout and we're back in this rising wedge. Does this suggest, because this pattern right here is interesting to me, because we did have this somewhat of a false breakout to the upside. And remember, rising wedges tend to break bearish. We've come back into this. Does this suggest, and this would make sense based on what we're seeing in the market right now. So we have the rising wedge, which typically breaks bearish. However, we're in this falling channel, which tends to break bullish. So it's like, could go up, could go down. It's this is the most sort of frustrating sort of thing to see when you see on a chart, when you have price action trending in a bullish pattern, but it's nested within a larger bearish pattern. So we need to have the context in mind, because as much as I want this to go up, up and away, I feel like just looking at the chart with not looking at any indicators whatsoever, just specifically looking at just a price action and the confusion in the price action, the lack of clarity between the bullish case or the bearish case, suggests if we came into this uncertainty sort of situation right here, coming out of the start of an uptrend, and now we're getting uncertain, then we have to also contextualize, and that also means that there's a loss of momentum and a loss of conviction from the bulls. And so if there's a loss of conviction from the bulls, that it's like yin and yang. So if you're losing momentum from the bulls, then that also means that there's a potential for conviction for bears to start come in as the bulls stop really defending, trying to take this higher, because it's not seeing any resolution to the upside. So what I think could be happening here falls perfectly in line with what we've been talking about for a while, which is this key level right here, around 24.8 up to 25.2, this blue box that we have right here. And having this actually come down, whatever, it doesn't matter what the path is to get there, but coming down to this level, I think would be one of the most bullish things we could do, as frustratingly patient that it makes us feel like we need to actually dive into, which is allowing the chart to do the work for you. Allow the trade to come to you. If you're frustrated by the potential of Bitcoin price potentially coming down here, then I'll tell you right now, then you're missing the ability to see opportunity. Because if I'm suggesting, and I could be completely wrong, but if I'm suggesting that this is a key level that we could be coming down to, because this is such a strong, this was the gates really to not just right here where we've broken out of this previous resistance, found support. This wasn't really yet just defining that we were starting an uptrend. Yes, we had the bullish impulse, but it wasn't until we actually got through these key levels at 25,000 that really showed the potential, that kind of catalyzed the idea that we may be in some sort of pre-halving bullish push up, that I still think we will get a sell off before the halving, and then of course resolve to the upside. But where we're at right here, if the price action does come down to here, and I want you to notice something with this rising wedge, the support being down here, what I think is most likely to happen is we had this washout sort of a bull trap to the upside. I think it's very likely that we do work our way down, get the breakout to the downside of this rising wedge, clear this liquidity, and shake out any of everybody that keeps trying to buy the bottom, and they're going leverage. Just clears that out and makes the price action healthier, because people get less convicted about getting that ultimate bottom. It clears out all that liquidity, allows the price action to resolve in this region, where I think there's going to be, I would wager that that there's going to be fairly strong buying pressure when we get anywhere in this region above this golden pocket, which is all the way down here. This is the golden pocket from this move here, which would be here at 23,500 up to 23,900. So whether we even break below this previous resistance here, now, is it going to be support? Is it going to be something that we get a wick to the downside below this, tap this sort of liquidity down here, and then come to the upside? I think it's very likely. And remember, this is all in the context of this falling channel. So even if this pinged around all the way down to the zone, there's nothing really inherently bearish about this. If we're talking about price action on the 1 hour, sure, we can call this a bear trend on the 1 hour, 4 hour, or whatever smaller time frame. But looking at the context, remember, we've always got to zoom out. Looking at the context of the market, we have push-ups, and then this was the global economic shutdown. But then resolution, push up, sell off, push up, sell off, push up, sell off, push up, sell off. It's okay. It's okay if we have price action not go up, 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 because if it does go up, 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 we also forget to have our own strategy, and we always want more. And then what happens is we forget to get out. We forget to use our strategy, and then it goes down just as fast as it went up. So I would rather price action do this like this, much like it's doing, where we're getting the price action to the upside, the ability to, if you're trading it, not just taking a position for the next bull market, but if you're trading this as it rolls over, you could take some profits, or just each time it dips, you take the opportunity. We're going to come here right here, take the opportunity to do what we do in a bullish trend, where we have this established sort of uptrend line, and it may actually be on a trend line or not, but on an uptrend, the practice is to be a net buyer on an uptrend on dips that you can also identify with the targets based on whether you're using whatever strategy you're using, whether it's EMAs or indicators or Fibonacci, or better yet, a combination of all the tools that are at your disposal. So as it stands right now, I do think that we are still setting up for a bit of a pullback, or a bit of a continuation of the current downtrend that we're in. Also, we can see, look at this, somewhat up-angled, rising, sort of broadening wedge. This is also a bearish sort of structure. It's aimed to the upside, and it's a broadening wedge, and it's coming, from a down move. I do think that this is likely going to come down here and test where these lows are right here, which is about 26,100, 26,200 region. We very well could trickle. We very well could bounce up here, come up to basically where these previous lows were, get rejection, and continue down. But as it stands right now, I still think the market is looking, I don't want to say weak, but I do think that the bears still have a bit of work to do. And for the bulls, it's not the end of the world if price goes down. Remember, it's an opportunity for you to have another DCA opportunity, or identify new levels to, if you haven't taken your shot yet on, whatever your strategy is. Price falling is new opportunity for those that can to see it. Now, for the guests in the room, give me 3 coins to look at.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we were going to have much time. I'm going to go into the chat I had from earlier. He wanted OPT.
Optimism? Yeah, we can do some optimism. Everybody throw a 1 in chat if you're alive today. Throw a 2 in chat. If are you a buyer? Are you sitting on your hands? Are you waiting? Are you just patiently just being frustrated, but just trying to stay in the know? Let me know what you're doing. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, get those emojis going in the chat window here. We're gonna do a couple minutes of TA on some different coins. It's gonna be total request live from my boy right over here. OP. Oh, I'll do a USDT charting and analysis. Let's see. Let's do optimism. USD. There we go. So let's look at optimism. All right. So optimism is something I have on my radar. I actually had some exposure to it, and I ended up getting out of it only for no reason of the project, but I had to move some capital around. And I pulled it out of this one because I had gotten it at a lower price. But this is something I personally do want to look at opportunities to add this to my portfolio because of the partnership that they have with Coinbase. But we see, remember these 2 lines right here? We drew this a couple weeks ago when we did the TA last, and this is broken all the way down to this level of support down here, which is we are in a bit of a rising wedge, but this is also. It's kind of hard to really look at TA on something like this when it's just come onto the market, and it also has such a strong partnership with Coinbase. We do see this level of support that this fell down beautifully to, bounced right here and is moving up, but it's getting resistance right at this previous low right here. So what it actually a little bit looks like here, it is looking rather weak. Let's actually pull up the indicators. We can look right here. Okay, so let's go to zoom in here, 4 hour. Okay. So we do have four bullish divergences right here. The histogram, RSI, stochastics, and the money flow index as well. Look at this. This is I love paying attention to when there's divergences, but my favorite kind of divergence is when I see it down here on the hidden volume. The green flags, whether it's R or H, which is regular or hidden, that's what the R or H mean. With their green flags, that's a bullish divergence on volume, meaning there's more interest coming in that's relative to what's happening with price, showing that there's an increase in volume and price has not yet responded. It likely will. So we get 4 bullish divergences on the market intelligence right here, and then we also have bullish divergence on the hidden volume. And we can also see we have the green candles coming into this, meaning the relative extrema did have basically showing this was unhealthy to the downside. There wasn't the necessary pressure to really take price down as far as it did. So start looking for an opportunity for a reversal. So that's what these green candles are suggesting. And then we get, boom, we get 4 bullish divergences and the divergence on the hidden volume. Now the question is going to be is because things are looking rather weak. Things are looking rather weak on the market. So what I would actually like to do on this is see, because let's get down to the 1 hour. You see on the 4 hour, it looks fairly bullish. But if we get better resolution, meaning getting more candles to break down everything going on, as soon as this bounced, this gives me pause right here. As soon as this bounced, we have all these pink candles right here, aka the relative extrema right here. You see, showing this is not the bullish support that would be healthy to support price action moving up is sort of waning. It's not quite there, suggesting that this likely will not have the support and the wind and the sails to really continue it going to the upside. So I would have a bit of a pause here, and this is why it's so important when you look at any asset. Using any indicator series, whether you're using RSI, stochastics, BitLab Trading Stack, Market Cipher, Luxa, it doesn't matter what package you use. The number one thing you can do is make sure you're looking at a variety of different time frames. So if you're starting with the daily and you see this bullish divergence, should I trade this? Come down to the 4 hour, divide it down. Okay, this was that zone. Now we can look at where we're at here on the 4 hour. This looks like this could be an opportunity. So let's get more clarity. Let's go down to the 1 hour. This is actually looking rather weak. So maybe we don't take that trade. Maybe we wait until there's a little more certainty in the market. So that's what I'm seeing with optimism right now. Let's go ahead and delete all these circles. I feel like Bob Ross over here drawing all these circles. If this does fail to, even if we come here to option F, come down, this is not even having any sort of initiative up to even the 382. This is looking weak. To me, this looks like it's likely to come back, retest this point of control of this zone right here, and likely come back and retest this zone down here at $1.58. Now, let's go ahead and look. We'll just do some Turbo TA real quick. We got Cardano. Cardano, remember, we talked about it breaking out of this falling wedge here. But it broke out of the falling wedge in a rising wedge, right? So we're seeing the points of confusion and uncertainty in the market play out specifically in the patterns in the charts that we're seeing like on these assets. So it makes sense if people are confused. It makes sense if nothing feels clear, because the price action is it's trying to move, but then it gets suppressed, and it gets sold off, but then it gets bought up, and we're getting conflicting signals. So right now, for me, it's very sort of hands-off sort of environment, letting it resolve with some sort of authority in one way or direction is kind of the move I'm in right now. But we do see this rising wedge right here that this is falling out of. It's still holding this previous level of resistance that is currently support, but it's not looking like it's holding a lot of strength here, because even finding support, it's kind of bouncing down the roof like this. Even on this bounce, it's not really a bounce. It's more like it's like a pause from falling. This isn't really a bounce, right? So there's no authority here that really gives me any signal that we may be moving to the upside. But then again, here's another point of confusion. Let's just get confused today. So we have a falling wedge that's broken out. That's a bullish pattern that broke out with a bearish pattern, which is a rising wedge that now is in another falling wedge. So this is confusion mapped out on a chart to the max. So what does that mean? There is signal in confusion, and that signal is maybe it's time to let go to the park, walk a dog. Let the charts resolve a little bit and let the opportunity come to you. If this does get lost, we're seeing this zone right here. A lot of price interactivity in this zone. This is also where we're holding. If we do lose this, I do think that it's likely that if we lose this, that we actually will see a bit of a tumble in Cardano. Down to around this region first, 35.6, and then potentially even coming down and tapping this 35 cent region. Now we're gonna do only a couple more. Let's look at Ethereum. We got to look at the big girl here. Okay. So let's get some clarity. What are we looking at? Let's go to the daily. Alrighty. So yeah, this is falling out of this. We have this descending triangle, flat bottom, descending level of resistance. We've fallen below it, but we're kind of holding weakly right under it. But we do have this strong blue undervalued signal. But at the same time, you have to be able to acknowledge when things conflict. This is looking like it could be undervalued, but in the same vein, looking right here at the relative extrema, this is also showing that this is unhealthy bullish movement. And what's interesting about that is there's almost no bullish movement here. So this is showing weakness just at holding this level. This looks like a stair step, classic sort of, when you get a breakdown, consolidation, breakdown, consolidation. This is what is looking like is happening right here. We're getting that breakdown consolidation. So what I would like to do on Ethereum is really look, you can kind of draw lines in a couple different ways. I would like to do it on the, let's go to the 4 hour. Yeah, here. So we got a bit, so we have a bit of a ascending triangle here where we have basically ascending level of support and a flat top. Look at all this bearish divergence on the volume. This is somewhat of a bullish pattern that tends to break to the upside, but I'm not going to read it that way because of all this bearish divergence on the volume that's not showing interest at really holding this level. I do think Ethereum likely will get another move to the downside. And we'll just call it from here, likely revisiting the 1715, basically about $100 down. And if we lose that, then, we could be coming down much further. But let's look at it one level at a time. If this does break to the upside, then our next level up would be this level of resistance up here at basically about 1900. But as it stands right now, I think we need to watch for even a potential fake out to the upside and then a continuation down to this zone right here. That's what I think is most likely. But you know what? It could go completely opposite of what I'm saying. That's what I'm seeing on the charts for Ethereum. Let's see. Let's do a couple more. XRP. Yeah, we could do that H bar for sure. Yeah. So first thing I'm seeing, I don't want to say ignoring. I'm looking past what the chart formation was here because we're out of it, one. But what I'm also seeing is we see a high, higher high, barely higher high, lower high. So what does this mean? This is somewhat of a rounding. This is a loss of momentum and we're also coming into this key level. So I do think that if XRP is able to break past this level right here, which is basically 46.80, I think that there's two things here. We have this horizontal level of resistance right above us, but we also have this sort of previous support from this rising wedge here, that if we come up into this zone, pretty strong level of resistance from this line and the horizontal resistance. So I'd be very cautious on this. I do think this may have a little bit of a liquidity washout to the downside before it does resolve to the upside. I think it's going to kind of follow the leader unless we get some incredible news from the XRP lawsuit that everybody's been waiting on for how many years now? So let's go ahead. I'm going to put this back just so there we go. Now we got to come over to alts. Let's go ahead. This will be the last one today. H bar. Similar to what I was just talking about on Ethereum. We're kind of having this down, sideways, down, sideways, down, sideways. You see this? Now this is getting a little more there's a little more conviction here. You see how each, this is much longer sort of consolidation, but you see how this is consolidating up to this level, previous low, and we're having a little bit of a fight here. Look at all these bars on the relative extrema sticking out, showing sort of lack of conviction for any bullish nature right here. If this does just get rejected, I of course would be looking right here at basically 5.15 cents. I'd really like it to hold above 5.1, because if we lose this, then we're likely going to be, let's actually zoom out a bit. So yeah, option J. So there we go. If we lose this zone, come on. We lose this zone right here, I think it's a very strong possibility we come down to the 4.8 cents. Of course, if we lose that, then the next level down is going to be down at the 786, also 4.8. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking too broadly about what the furthest target can be. I'm looking at it right now because everything is moving, but like in these small steps, one way or the other. I'm just looking at the levels directly above and directly below us, because things are sort of oscillating back and forth on what they're doing there. So that's what I'm seeing. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. We've got to go to the conference. I'm glad we were able to hop on today. Really appreciate you all. Have you all hit the like button, as King Peasant just said? Absolutely. And Brad Guido's in chat. Maybe one day I'll get to meet him in person. He's sitting right here. Big love to everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And you want to sing the Adios Muchachos song?
Adios, muchachos.
Yeah. As my daddy says, bring me a higher low. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Big love. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Hope to see you here again and again. Adios, sucker.